I've had the printer running now for several months, and I really haven't done too many changes or customizations to it. However, I did do one to deal with the Z banding or Z wobble that I was getting on my prints, and that's the brackets that you can see located under here that now allow the threaded rods to wobble as needed or move back and forth as needed, and the carriage to ride on the smooth rods instead. So that was a really good upgrade, and it was simple to do and has drastically improved the prints that I'm getting now. I see smooth edges now rather than the banding that I was getting before. I did also have the nozzle clog on me at one point, and I tried several things while I was figuring out what the problem was. Temperature changes. I tried temperature changes with the nozzle temperature. I tried slowing down the extrusion rate and the printer rate, and it kept jamming or clogging. So I finally removed the nozzle and cleared it out by heating it up with a heat gun and putting it in water with the tip up to let the steam vaporize any debris that was in there. And that actually seemed to work. I did it several times in a row, and it cleaned it out, and ever since then I have not had any more problems with the nozzle clogging. I did order an extra spare nozzle just in case it happens again, so I can quickly switch it out, but other than that, it's been working fine. I've continued to use the Hatchbox PLA, and that's been working good. I haven't encountered any other issues with that while I print, and I've been continuing to use that one. At some point I might try some different brands to see what difference I'll get into printing. I also been still using the green painter's tape or the frog tape on the heated bed, and you don't get the super smooth surface on the bottom of your prints like you do printing directly on the glass, but it's made it really easy. I don't have to put anything on the bed. I just start printing and it pops off when done. One thing that I did do, I don't know if you can see it very well in the video here, but I've got this cover that I made. It's just out of foam board from the dollar store, and that because the printer is located in my garage, that helps keep some of the dust and temperature fluctuations off the printer. So that's been it only took me a few minutes to build. Just again, a couple of sheets of, or 3 sheets of foam board and some hot glue, and I've got a cover. So I'd like to build something more permanent at some point, but that's still down the list. So after I did the upgrade on the Z-axis, my first print was the cube, and I don't know if you can see it in the video very well. Probably out of focus, but the edges are nice and smooth. I still do get a little bit of curl up on the edges, on the corners. I think I still need to figure out a cooling fan on the nozzle to, or the part itself to cool it down while printing to prevent that, but I haven't had a chance to do that yet. I did print out this robot. This was on Thingiverse. It's a line drawing robot, and so this was all printed out on the printer. Wheels, the base plate, and the different parts there. And I threw this design together real quick. It's a holder for line following or line tracking sensors. That's one of the things I printed out. And also printed out for this other robot some different parts, such as the servo horn for the steering, and some amount for the breadboard, and there's some other parts that I printed out in there. Obviously not the main chassis, but that's another thing that I've been using the printer for. So I still continue to be impressed with the prints that I'm getting from the printer. Especially with the upgraded Z-axis to get rid of the Z-wobble. I haven't had any other problems with it so far. I am starting to hear some of the bearings in the Y-axis making a little bit of noise. I wouldn't be surprised if I'm going to have to replace those at some point. They're probably cheap Chinese bearings, but again, they're still working fine, still moving smoothly, even though they're making a little bit of noise. And otherwise, the motors seem to be working fine. They run cool, and everything else seems to be working well. So still continuing to enjoy using the printer.